Welcome to day 5, the final day of our Leslie and Lester top sew along. We're going to finish things up. We're going to work on our sleeves, we're going to work on our bands or our hems or whatever we're using, whatever options we're using to finish our top. We are finishing it all up. All right, welcome to day 5. Let's work on some sleeves. The first thing I'm going to do is look at my pattern piece, and on my pattern piece it shows where the front is. I want to make sure that I mark one of those pieces on the right side so I know which is the front, goes toward the front of the bodice. For both of our sleeves, we're going to put them right sides together, and then you're going to clip all the way down the long edge there. Same with this one, right sides together, and then we're going to go to our serger and we will serge down those raw edges. I'm going to do that with with my Lester as well. Now let's head to our serger and let's stitch down these raw edges. Let's turn our sleeves right side out. Okay, let's grab our Leslie bodice. Now I'm going to use, the first one piece I'm going to use is the one that's marked for the front. So this piece needs to be right side together with the front. So I'm going to place that inside. Now I've also, on the pattern piece, there's a little knot or a line that tells you where the center of your sleeve is. So I cut out a little notch there because that goes to my shoulder seam. Okay, now let's do the other side. Another way you can do this is you can match your shoulder seam and your side seam and put a pin or a clip here or a clip on the other side. So you're like quartering it. Okay, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you grab your sleeve and you've got your seam here, and then you've got your notch here. Double check that that's my notch. Yeah, that's my notch. My notch here. Okay, I'm going to mark that notch again. It's kind of tiny. Go. And then we'll quarter this as well. And then you'll just match up the clips. All right, and I'm going to repeat this with the Lester. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is take these over to my serger, and I'm going to attach these sleeves to these armholes. Whew, got our Lester and Leslie. Okay, just want to make sure nothing got weird. Okay. Ooh, look how close we are. It looks fabulous. All right, so we've got our sleeves on. Who's excited? I'm excited. You have a couple different options on finishing your sleeves. You can cuff them or you can hem them. I've chosen to cuff both of them. Now I'm cuffing the Leslie, this one right here, with a rib knit, which is the same thing that I used here on the binding. So for the Lester, I'll be doing cuffs as well. And instead of using the rib knit, my husband really wanted it to be the exact same color or the exact same fabric. And had I known that when I started this, I would have just done the hemmed version. But what's done is done. So the cuffs are going to be made out of this fabric as well. It'll be a tight squeeze, but not a big deal. We can do it. Here we are. We've got our this is our Leslie long sleeve cuff. Just as a reminder, the stretch should be going, the stretch should be going this way, which it is, and the grain line is this way. Okay, so we've got that done. Now what I'm gonna do, make sure you know which side is the top, okay? So what you're gonna do is you wanna make sure that you're not folding it like this and sewing it. You wanna fold it like this and sew it, okay? So you're going to match the side raw edges there. Same here. And then we'll go to the sewing machine and we'll stitch across both of these. Okay, I'm gonna set that to the side because we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna do the same thing with the Leicester. So I'm gonna take these and I am going to sew them. All right, so I have all of my pieces. Okay, now take your cuff. You're going to fold it wrong sides together. So I always grab the seam and then I match the seam. And then I fold it the rest of it. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to link how to do cuffs and bands. And if you need help with that, you can refer to those sewing school videos. Otherwise, just follow along. All right, once I get these done, I'm going to head to my serger and I'm going to sew them together. After this, if you're doing a banded bottom, like a banded top, then again, I will have linked the sewing school video for how to do bands, and so you can refer to that because I'm not doing bands on either one of these. I'm hemming my Leicester and I'm doing the curved hem on the Leslie. All right, I am gonna go sew. All right, for hemming, this is going to be pretty easy. What we're gonna do is, this is the wrong side facing up right here. We're going to fold our hem, our raw edge, to the wrong side, 1 inch, and then we're gonna press and clip. All right, now I've got this pinned and ready to go. I'm gonna head over to my sewing machine. I can also use a cover stitch, but you can use a twin needle or a stretch stitch, and I'm gonna hem all the way around the hem here. Okay, here we are. Our Leicester is complete. We are hemmed at the bottom. Looking good. I'm very happy with it. Cannot wait for my husband to try this on. I think he's gonna like it. All right, let's move on to finishing the bottom of our Leslie. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our pattern pieces. This is the front, this is the back. Now I am going to take the pattern pieces off. The thing is, these look very, very similar. So I am actually gonna keep a pin in the front one so I remember that that one is the front. So move our pattern piece out of the way. So the front one is here. I know this is the front. So let's put right sides up. And here we are. This is the front, this is the back. We're gonna place them right sides together, and we're gonna head over to our serger, and we are going to serge these short raw ends together. I'll be right back. All right, here we are. You can see I have serged both of these short ends together. Let me just put that to the side real quick, and let's get our sweatshirt here. Our tunic, I should say. I've got the front right side up here. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna place our hem facing right sides together. So I know that this, since I put this pin here, that this is the front. So I'm gonna line up the side seams. You could also quarter this to make it easier for you. But there's no stretching or anything. It fits 1 to 1. Just make sure you've got everything looking good. Once I have attached this with my clips, excuse me, then I will head over to my serger and attach it. Okay, here we are. Let's turn it around here. All right, let me take that pin out. So we are good to go. Okay, so you could have used a stretch stitch to attach this, and what you would have needed to do after that is to come through with your scissors and clip the curve so it can turn more easily. But I use my serger, so I'm not going to do that. But I am now going to turn this white, the facing here, to the wrong side all the way. And I'm going to clip it just to keep it there because fleece just doesn't want to stay where I tell it to. Now here's what it looks like, all pinned and clipped. I'm going to go to my sewing machine and I'm going to use a stretch stitch, but you can use a stretch stitch or a cover stitch or a twin needle, and I'm going to stitch this facing down all the way around. All right, here we are. I was going to say earlier, before I started sewing, that if you have a fabric that you can press it before you sew it, just to make sure everything is as it should be. Mine looks pretty good. That's the back. Here's the front. I'm very happy with how cute this turned out. So here's the hem, and here is the top. Ooh, I can't wait for you to see this on. Thank you so much for joining us on the Lester and Leslie Top Sew Along. I had a great time with you this week, and I'm looking forward to, as I'm sure you are, making a bunch of these sweatshirts for myself and for my husband. So check out all of my makes from this week. Make sure that you join us next month for another sew along. I'll see you then. Bye.